This is my first view of Vietnam out of the window of the C-141. This is the Cam Ranh Bay area. When we were assigned to Vietnam, most of my class was assigned to the 1st Cav Division up in An Cay. Or not An Cay, but up near An Cay. And when we arrived there on this airplane, we were told that some of us had our orders changed and we were going to go down south to the 3 Corps area, which was Benoit, Saigon, and we had a little bit of every kind of terrain down there. We had some mountains, we had flatlands. Now this is formation takeoff out of Benoit Air Base. This is the 118th Assault Helicopter Company. This is the unit that I was assigned to for about the first 6 months of my first year in Vietnam. We flew pretty tight formations, and typically we flew in diamond formation. This is a staggered trail formation we're in right here. I made aircraft commander very quickly after I got to Vietnam. Did a check ride, learned some of the geography, and had good flying skills, so they made me an aircraft commander. I couldn't find some places without the help of a Decca navigator, but it's kind of featureless around there. But once you got the hang of where everything was, it was very easy to get around that area. Here we are coming into a small strip to pick up some South Vietnamese Army troops and take them into an LZ. That's the LZ up ahead of us. It's been marked by a white phosphorus round. We've dropped them off and now we're leaving. We took off in formation as well as landing in formation, and we got very confident in our flying abilities, tight formations, and we really had to trust each other, etc., to do what you had to do.
Because I've got to keep on searching for that dream, and you can't find me with the simple words, I love you. But if I realize the dream that I've been searching for is waiting here behind your door, then I'll come back to stay if you still want me.
This is a flyby for the newly appointed Premier of South Vietnam, Premier Key, and this is Benoit Air Base, and General Westmoreland was down there to be part of the ceremonies, and they asked us to do a flyby, and so that's what we did. We just tie smoke grenades to the skids, and at a given time the crew chief and the gunner would pull the pin on it, and they'd smoke for a while. This is back at the birdcage, and this is on Benoit Air Base. This was before we even put the revetments in to protect the aircraft against mortar attacks, but we're waiting to pick up some more troops. And this is the whole company. That's our maintenance hangar back there in the background, the big tall building. And this is the troops coming, and that's Davy Coons next to me. And Davy was a classmate of mine. He was killed on September 9th, 1966. He was shot in the neck and bled death before we could get him to a hospital.
I don't hear words they're saying, only the echoes of my mind.
This is a typical D model UH-1. Had the old gun system on it. We got better system later on. This particular aircraft had a high-freq radio on it. That's that wide antenna. That's a Vietnamese Air Force H-34. And here come a flight of A-1 Sky Raiders. Vietnamese Air Force A-1 Sky Raiders.
Well, the weather suits my clothes. Banking off of the northeast winds, sailing on summer breeze, and skipping over the ocean like a stone.
Now we're going up to that LZ up there. It's been prepped by Airstrike. scenery along the way I took some movies of.
I'm going where the sun keeps shining.
Most of the smoke's dissipated and we're on final. You can see yellow smoke over on the left that was put there by a Pathfinder. There's a gunship shooting something up, landing with a little bit of a tailwind. Troops are getting off, and we're on our way.
Everybody's talking at me. Can't hear a word they're saying.
We were most vulnerable on short final in the LC and then on takeoff to small arms fire. Here we are in a trail formation going back to the birdcage at Benoit.
No, I won't let you leave.
We typically flew about one rotor disc separation on the aircraft, and we all became very proficient at formation flying. This is at a Special Forces camp. It's a Thunderbird over there. It's monsoon season, a lot of clouds, a lot of rain, but still hot. And here we are out in some part of the Mekong, and we have dropped troops, but we're staying with them for some reason. I don't remember what this was all about.
You might wake up some morning.
And we've taken off to leave now. Get some good shots. There's a couple other Hueys coming off the ground here. It's the Saigon River there, by the way.
Out on the new horizon, you may see the floating motion of a distant pair of wings.
See the windshield wiper marks on those acrylic windshields, and you never use those wipers unless you absolutely had to. This is the Saigon shipping channel we're flying over. There's a little sampan down there. Again, the Saigon shipping channel. Now we're taking off again. We've done a second lift. And they were having saboteurs blow up ships there in the channel, and so we were taking troops out there. Those were 173rd Airborne troops. That's a place called Fuloy. Here we are back at Special Forces Camp. It's a Thunderbird aircraft landing right there.
If you remember
Chinook.
there that glided past you, followed close by, heavy breathing.
And note the tent. He's going over to pick up a howitzer and a basic load of ammunition.
It will not harm you. It's only me pursuing something I'm not sure of. Across my dreams.
And there he goes.
With nets of wonder.
Probably had the crew for that inside the aircraft. Here we are at a refueling place, and I'm getting fuel while the Chinook waits his turn. Here's some K9 Corps dogs that we were taking somewhere. They liked to fly. They were real good in the aircraft. It was cool, and they had no fear at all of the noise and the other things that go on around a helicopter. But they were very disciplined dogs. They were all German Shepherds. You'll notice when the guys get in, you know, they don't put seat belts on or anything. They just jump in there and hang on to the seat with their hands or something. And this was a day that we were out doing several lifts for the South Vietnamese Army. It's getting a little bit later in the day here, and we've landed on a dike and shut down to await some troops that we're going to insert at an LZ some miles away. The dike also served as a road to get food to the market and get people around to their homes and stuff. People were all very good-natured and had never really been quite so close to a helicopter, with the exception of this little girl who just wouldn't look at anybody. Most of the people were interested in what we were doing there and wanted to look in the aircraft, and so it was a rather nice day. And the rice crops are of course extremely important to those folks, and they do a very good job. Their fields are just spotless. Well, we picked up some troops and we're headed out to drop them off, and we have to go back to the dike again to get another load. We didn't shut down, as you can see, and the troops are coming along the right side of the aircraft so they don't run into the tail rotor. And we took those troops out and came back and landed again, waiting permission to go back to Benoit from the headquarters that had control of us. And a lot of kids came out. School was out, and all the boys wanted to look at the helicopters, and so they did. And pretty quickly it's going to be dark, like in about 45 minutes, and we finally get the word to go back to Benoit, and everybody's aircraft starts fine except mine, so they leave and I stay there until we get a fuel strainer unclogged and I can start the aircraft. But it was a fun day. This is my villa. This is where I lived on Kong Lee Street. It's a palm tree. It grew up through the mess hall. These are donut dollies, American Red Cross USO girls. I used to fly them around quite a bit. This is the top of a monolith out near a place called Zwan Lock, and we had a radio relay site up there. The only way in and out was via helicopter, and they had some artillery up there, and you can see the antenna there on the right. But it was a good pinnacle approach. This came up to almost 3,000 feet from sea level. There were a couple of these monoliths around the three-core area. Here we are taking off. You can see kind of the gray area down there is jungle that's been defoliated with Agent Orange. And we're going to do a pretty rapid descent down into Zwan Lock. You'll be able to see some French rubber tree plantations. And the French lived pretty good there, even in '65. They had some beautiful estates, and like the one you see there, swimming pools, private airstrips, and those are rubber trees all around there. Here we are at a place called Trung Lap, and I think this was around Christmas of 1966.
See the tree, how big it's grown, but friend, it hasn't
and
been.
I'm celebrating with pyrotechnics. I hadn't shot one of these parachute flares, so I thought I'd try that.
I laughed at her and she got mad.
Finally got it to go off.
That she planted it was
Then I just tried a regular flare.
Then the first snow came.
This is a guy named Ed Jarvis. He flew with me. He was a warrant officer. And this monolith you see out here is called Tay Ninh. Nui Ba Din, Black Virgin Mountain.
And almost hurt herself.
And it was about 3,300 feet above sea level. And again, they had a fire support base and radio relay sites up there. Again, the only way in and out was helicopter.
And I surprised her with a puppy, kept me up all Christmas Eve 2 years ago. And it would sure embarrass her when I came in from working late, 'cause I would know
this is on final into the helipad.
That she'd been sitting there.
And that's me flying.
Over some sad and silly late.
You take off over triple canopy jungle
and honey, I miss you.
That's Tainan West. That was a big military establishment there at Tainan. This is another monolith, not quite so high. This is a place called Song Bay. And that's our B model Huey. Now that I'm over in the 2nd Field Force, I'm still aircraft commander, but they made us fly on the right side of the aircraft, which was the primary pilot station, but it had the flight instruments, and so most of the time I flew on the right. And we flew the generals. 2nd Field Force was the largest command in Vietnam, and had quite a few general officers, colonels and stuff, and we flew them around, plus we flew VIPs.
And it was in the early spring when flowers bloom and robins sing.
That's one of our aircraft right there. I think we had 4 aircraft.
Honey, I miss you.
That's our dog. One of them. That's Major Harry Droder, who was the commander of the flight detachment.
To be with you.
That's General Krittenberger on the left. He was in charge of all the artillery units in 2nd Field Force.
One day while I was not at home, while she was there, and
it's actually Saigon right there. Probably going over to Hotel 3, which was at Johnson-Hood Airport.
Now all I have is memories of honey, and I wake up nights and call her
got the
name.
racetrack and soccer fields down there. We're not far from Johnson-Hood Air Base.
Stage where honey lived and honey played and love.
That's it, actually. Must be in a C model that day, because that's Camp Alpha right there. That's where everybody came into Vietnam to get in processed, and then you left from there to go home.
And see the tree
this is our one of our Vietnamese employees at the aviation detachment there, 2nd Field Force.
And I laughed at her and she got mad. The first day that she planted it was just a twig.
Couple of our aircraft. We've got a paved heliport now. It was just dirt when I first got there. This is General Westmoreland and some other folks. That's General Siemens and General Westmoreland.
Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Suzanne, the plans they made put an end to you. I walked out this morning and I wrote down.
These are just some of the areas flying around 3 Corps.
I just can't remember who to send it to.
It's a large fire in War Zone C.
I've seen sunny days.
And there's our tent that's been our operations building, and they're building us a new building here, which is kind of nice. It's a C-130 at a place called Lai Khe, and Lai Khe was a dirt strip, as you can see, and very dangerous in this time of year. We must be in the dry season because all of the dust is flying around. These are South Vietnamese troops, and you can see what happens here when the Chinooks get gets into ground effect and starts kicking up all that dust. It's really dangerous. You can't see the ground.
Oh, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. Seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend.
And that dust is like talcum powder. Once it gets airborne, it takes forever to dissipate. And we're taking these troops somewhere. I don't remember where.
Been walking my mind to an easy time, my back turned towards the sun. Lord knows when the cold wind blows, it'll turn your head around.
There's another helicopter landing.
On the telephone line to talk about things to come.
Okay, this is at Tainin at the Michelin rubber plantation close by, and I've taken General Crittenden in to this fire support base.
I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend.
It looks like an 8-inch.
But I always thought that I'd see you.
Could be a 175, I forget.
One more time again. Thought I'd see you one more time again. There's just a few things coming my way this time around now.
Here's my Huey. That's a C model with a 540 rotor system, really fast Huey. We do about 140 knots. Carrying more donut dollies or nurses or something here. We're back up on Hill 875. Oh, you can't see it, but this is the floor of our operations tent, and there's a dog there trying to drink water. That's one of our young Vietnamese ladies that was an administrator. She took care of her flight records. Slowly but surely our little building's coming together. It's a place called Cu Chi, Vietnam. And the one of the Army divisions, I think it was the 25th Army, 25th Division was stationed there. More fires. These were typically started by artillery or airstrikes. Sometimes they were set on purpose. We're back at Song Bay now. This is my M2 carbine, fully automatic, and I carried it as my sidearm over there. During the mission that I got the DFC for, they thought that belonged to one of the wounded troops on the aircraft on one of my lifts, and they took it off the back of my seat, and I never saw it again, but only had a week or two left in country, so it didn't bother me.
To survive in this world till you showed me how to fill my heart with love, how to open up and drink.
Here I am flying at altitude up high where it's cool. I like to fly through the clouds some if they weren't too thick or active. Oh, that's my Akai M8 recorder. And I still have that. Now this is out of the second floor of my villa at 2nd Field Force down the street from where I used to live. And when we went back to Vietnam in 2008, the street has become a very large thoroughfare. And this is a picture of a bridge that the Viet Cong blew up. This is on the road from Saigon down to Vung Tau. It was Highway 13 if I recollect. Kind of tell it's dry season, it's not near as green. Still hot though. This is a military base. It's long been. And we're in a 540 rotor system, that's why it's jumping around all over the place with the camera. They were fast, but they were bumpy. This is our facility right here. And shooting into final there. Okay, another shot of our building and our sign. Comes another helicopter in. This is one of our D models. A little bit out of focus on this. It's an F5 bird dog. Here I am flying somewhere. It's monsoon weather and could get caught between layers pretty easy. This is cross street from our helipad, and when we'd park out there, the kids would always come sell us Cokes. We're out in War Zone D, I think it is, and close to K. They're starting to put in a airfield, and this is an engineer battalion in here that's doing the work. And these guys lived pretty rough. They didn't have it too good. I'm in the 2nd Field Force now, of course, and clean uniforms, warm place, cool place to sleep at night, and a bath every night. And these poor fellas are out there just miserable. But they get used to it. They don't complain too much. It's War Zone C. Okay. The engineers are rebuilding a bridge here that was blown up by the Viet Cong. That's the new bridge. That's the old bridge. If you knew how hot it was, you know how miserable these folks are. And it's probably 90, 95 degrees. Here I am walking in nice and clean in my starched uniform and nice white t-shirt and clean. Here's Fuloy again. Had a hydraulic failure there one day. Had to do a running landing on the runway there. That's a highway bridge between Saigon and Benoit. It's still there, except they've got another one right next to it now. This is getting some fuel over at Berea. This is where the Australians worked. We did a lot of hot refueling. We never shut the aircraft down. We just fueled it while it was running. That's an Australian troop there. This is Blue 5. This is the aircraft I was shot down in. First time I was shot down, and those patches are the exit areas for the rounds that shot us down. A couple of folks sitting there were killed. This is John Mackey. He's from Albuquerque. He flew in Vietnam. Here I am out